In this section, we'll be showing you how you can access the plugins via the channel settings window, and also how you can use some of them through the new channel strip that was introduced in Cubase 7. In here we have a session with a basic rock track that we'll be using later with some of our dynamics plugins. So to access the plugins on a particular channel, we just have to select the track that we want to insert the plugin on, and then we'll come up here and click the E to edit our channel settings. And in our channel settings window, we'll want to make sure we're on inserts, and we'll click on the first insert slot, and we'll come down to dynamics. In here you can see the variety of dynamics plugins that are available to us. To insert a plugin, we just select one from the list, and to open the plugin's controls, all we have to do is click on the plugin itself. And here's the plugin editor window where we can modify all of our settings. So if we go back into our list of plugins here, you'll see that we actually have 3 different types of stereo compressors available to us. We have our standard stereo compressor, we have a tube compressor which has a unique gritty character to it, and we have a vintage compressor which was modeled after vintage style compressors. We have a multi-band compressor which lets us compress certain frequency bands, and we actually have a de-esser that is useful for vocals and overhead drum tracks. For limiters, we have the standard stereo limiter. We also have a brick wall limiter, which is used more for mastering, and we have our maximizer. For gates, we have a standard noise gate, and we have a MIDI gate, which we can use to control via MIDI to get some unique special effects. We have an expander plugin, which we can use to increase the dynamic range of an audio signal, and we have an envelope shaper, which we can use to manipulate the transients of an audio signal. And you'll see a new option that was introduced in Cubase 7 for our channel strip window. And one of the advantages of using the channel strip is that we can insert some of those same plugins without taking up any of our insert slots. So you'll see in the gate section, we have our standard noise gate. In the compressor section, we actually have all 3 stereo compressors, the standard, tube, and vintage. In the transient section, we have our envelope shaper. And in the limiting section, we actually have all 3 limiters. Now, one thing you'll want to keep in mind about the channel strip is the signal chain. The channel strip actually comes after these first 6 insert slots. So any effects that you have in the first 6 insert slots will then be affected by anything that you have in the channel strip. After the channel strip, your audio is then going to be sent to your 2 post fader inserts at the bottom. So say for instance you're using a limiter in the channel strip view, if you have any inserts in the post faders, these will affect the output level of that limiter on your channel. The other nice thing about the channel strip is that we can actually change the order of the effects in our signal chain by going to the strip menu. So say if we had a noise gate loaded and also a compressor, but we wanted the noise gate to come after the compressor, we just click and drag this down to the compressor slot. The other nice thing is that we can change the position of our equalizer here to come either before or after the other channel strip effects. So as you can see, we have a lot of flexibility in terms of where we can put the effects on our signal chain. Up next, we'll be talking about compression and limiting and see how we can use it to manipulate the dynamics of an audio signal.